There are our first 3 farm-grown chickens. It took us an hour between 3 of us to do 3. So that's kind of slow moving for 100 chickens. But I'm using my goat milking table to do the plucking and the gutting, putting the stuff in the buckets. And that's where we're keeping the gizzards and the livers and the hearts. Those are gizzards, and those are livers and hearts. So it's interesting, that's for sure.
Snow sitting in the truck.
Huh? I know it. It's so funny. She's sitting there patiently waiting.
The doors are open. Stick a leg in, it doesn't matter.
Turn it up so I can.
Yes. Want me to do it with my little glove on? There's more rubber gloves. I think the water's a little hotter, so you might not want to go as long.
How is it getting hotter?
I turned the burner down. I've never used this before, I don't know. We're going right here.
We did about 18 chickens today, and it was time consuming. Those are all the feathers. Those are the heads. I was surprised at how it got a little bit easier as we went and did it. That cat's eating a chicken neck, but I froze the rest of the chicken necks and the chicken feet for later. But man, this morning it was like 41 degrees when we started, and I had like a t-shirt and a long sleeve and a hoodie and this hat that Ricky got me. He thinks that it makes me look like a dork, but out here in the cold, I don't care if I look like a dork. I love my hat. But we put up that blue tarp to and move the truck over there to kind of shield what we were doing from everybody. I'm letting them have a snack. Tomorrow and morning I won't feed them again, but they haven't eaten since, not last night, but the night before. So since we're stopping for the day, we've killed a fifth of the roosters, I decided they need to eat. Because they are angry and aggressive when they're hungry. But I put bands on the legs of the roosters that I intend to keep. You can see it's just a zip tie. So because my mom is here, she doesn't know my chickens like I do. So I marked the 3 we're keeping. There's another one. He's wearing his band on his right foot. Don't zoom on the chicken wire. Anyway, he has a zip tie on his leg too. And there's, Ricky has a favorite rooster that's not like any of the others, so we're keeping him as well. I was only going to keep 2, but we'll keep 3. It's really disconcerting because even though none of these chickens have names, I come out here and I take care of them every day, and I know them, and it's a lot quieter with 18 chickens missing. But the goats, I gave them a sweet potato today, and of course they loved it. They get closer and closer to me every day. Let's see if they'll run up here and get some pettins. Found out that Susie and Sugar love their ears pet behind. Sophie, she kind of tolerates it, but she doesn't beg for it like Susie and Sophie do. But they love to be petted. And they especially love my treats that I bring them. They're such good girls. They aren't interested in their hay at all. The previous owner's husband suggested we put hay here. And just as an experiment, I cut some because they haven't been touching the hay in the barn. But we were feeding them sweet potatoes over here, and Sugar stuck her head through the bar and couldn't figure out how to get it back in, so I had to help her. Poor Sugar. But, so I'm gonna have to find a different solution, but they have access to hay if they want it. It's in the, hey sweetie, it's in the, barn, in that bucket that I built. What are you sniffing my camera for? But they're just such good girls. I'm just really glad that they're getting bonded to me, and, one of them, I don't remember who, we were over there, they hang out in the shade there sometimes, and I went over there and was crouched down with them, and they just came up and wrapped their neck around me. It was so sweet. They've cracked heads 3 different times, so it's kind of funny. It's usually Sophie that instigates it. She's like, hey, let's crack heads, and one of those two is like, alright, let's do this. So we're just waiting to see if they're preggo. I hope they are. I need milk. But they just love to eat this grass, which is exactly what I grew it for. That whole pile is chicken, and we still have some that Ricky's working on vacuum sealing to put in on top of that. So that's 18. So multiply that a few times, and this whole freezer is probably going to be full of chicken. So we may not be able to kill all 100 of them right away. We might have to do what Dirt Patch Heaven suggested, and leave it on the hoof, so to speak. It'll cost feed to keep it that way, but at least we'll have a place to store it all. But my mom, I was so glad she got to come. She was thrilled with the place. We walked the perimeter yesterday. Anyone who's seen one of my earlier videos when we first moved here has got to see the perimeter. I keep it mowed. We go walking it sometimes. Compost is breaking down nicely. Got the wood chips in here. I haven't finished moving. This is just 2 cartfuls. But got my sweet potato vines in here and stuff. But my okra is still producing. And it is so warm today. But this lifestyle is so awesome. I haven't put the rabbits in their rabbit tractor in probably a week and a half or 2 weeks. And part of it is just because it's such a hassle moving the babies back and forth, because they're getting kind of ornery now that they're getting older and they're developing their little personalities and whatnot. But I've just been preparing mentally for this chicken day, and so I've just kind of been laxing on some of my extra stuff that I do for happy rabbits. But hey, there's a chicken over there. But what I did last night is, with my 2 coops, I put feed in one of the coops, the bigger coop, there on the left. And so all those chickens had access to food all night. But the chickens in the smaller coop didn't have access to feed. And so those were the chickens. I opened that one first, let them come out, and those were the chickens that we harvested. We found out these little red ones have a million little bitty, like, feathers regrowing, so it's really difficult because other than just the feathers, there's a million little just stubs that you have to pull out too. So we thought about skinning them, but we've been trying to get rid of these guys first because they are mean. In fact, I hear one chasing one. See? Goodness, they're mean. You leave that chicken alone. So we've been getting rid of them first. We don't see any, I mean, those guys are aggressive sometimes, but not very often. It's mainly just these guys. And I'm keeping him, but not him, or him, or him, or them. Oh gosh, Sophie just crashed into Sugar. Today is day 2. We've taken out 15 more roosters and we've still got 6 to go. We're taking a small break to eat lunch and give some sweet potatoes to the goats. But not as many chickens as there were. We've only taken out, I guess, like 33 out of the 100. Susie! Susie! Sugar and Sophie are ready. I hope that's not too big of a piece. I guess it is.